here to this point with Kerrigan or his time with Washington. Like sum that up. AJ, I know you had something to say about Kerrigan and another player that we'll end up talking about, but talk to me. I want to hear you go first, bro.
I mean, him signing with Philadelphia is like, hey, go get your money, man. At the end of the day, for what he signed for, I think like 3.5 million. It was essentially Washington saying we wanted more speed coming off the edge from our second unit. At the end of the day, the fans think more about that rivalry stuff than these players. They trying to obtain as much money as they can for their family for the time being, and whoever has like pure interest in them. And for what I know, his market was pretty damn dry. So it's even a privilege for him to even get signed, a couple weeks after the draft. But I mean, overall, career-wise, a lot of people kind of overhype the numbers, but I mean, he was average. He was a solid first-round pick, average, but he was never an elite pass rusher in my mind. You know, definitely a solid dude to be around. A lot of his former teammates had nothing but great things to say about him. His work ethic, he pretty much stayed himself, and I was always in the hand if needed. So I've always heard great things about him as a human being, and the time I've been around him, he's been cool. But yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is. It happens.
Let's hear it, Dre.
Yeah, no, Ryan Kerrigan, he had a really good career for Washington football team, and a lot of fans they like to argue about what type of player he's been throughout his career here, and there's a good portion of them that thinks Ryan Kerrigan was elite because his numbers kind of were comparable to a J.J. Watts, but his impact on the game wasn't the same as a J.J. Watt throughout his career. But either way, it was good for us. I mean, this team hasn't had a lot to cheer for, during his tenure here, but he was one of the consistent players on the roster. So I think it's a situation where the regime came in and now they're looking at a lot of the older guys that doesn't fit what they want to do moving forward. Ryan Kerrigan, Ryan Anderson, I think those are the DNs of the past for us, the power rush guys who don't give you much bend on the edge over there, and they want to get different. The 2 draft picks they made, I think, in the 7th round proved that with Shaka Tony and William Bradley King. So it was just that time to move on. And I'm not mad about him moving on to Philadelphia. Because personally, I know some people are saying, oh, he could have went to the Bengals or the Steelers. But, yeah. I mean, I still don't think of it as an out of spite thing for Ryan Kerrigan. He just doesn't strike me as that type of guy. I mean, sure, maybe he wants to play him twice a year, but I don't think it was one of those things where, oh, I hate them now. I got to go out and kill him. I just think he probably thought it was the best situation for him. I mean, Philly's not that far. He got comfortable, in this East region.
You got to go where the money resides.
Exactly.
Where the money resides.
So, right. They paid
where
him.
The money resides.
I don't know if he gets this competition. Like I said, I don't know if he's starting for the Eagles or not. But hey, like I said, if he felt it was best for him, that's cool, man. I mean, that's fine. He had a good career here. That was it.
Hey, let me talk to you. If he's starting for Philadelphia, they are tanking. I'll put it that way. I don't, as much as I'm a fan of, look, I respect Ryan Kerrigan and the person that he was with Washington, and I also will say I actually agree with both of y'all. I actually don't think it had very little to do with any motivation getting revenge against Washington. I actually think it had. I was talking to somebody, Shooters Dre, shout out to you, bro. I was telling him that I think, if anything, it was 90% familiarity and comfortability within the NFC East and him knowing these areas versus the 10% of him actually like, you know what, I'm going to get back mode. I want to fucking make sure that Washington knows that I ain't no old dude with bad knees and one bull rush move, like whatever that is. Hey, I think that's where the 10% was. So with Kerrigan, for me personally, man, I never thought that he was an elite player. Thought he was very good. I thought he made plays for Washington, but I think the thing that kind of failed him, but also it wasn't necessarily showcased or highlighted because of like his numbers, which was his numbers were comparatively to a lot of people, Von Miller, JJ Watt, all those people, comparatively speaking, he's just as high up there. But what the numbers don't tell you is the number of impact plays in the bigger games that kind of separated those two from Kerrigan. And that's kind of where the misconception lies with Kerrigan for me, especially among people in the fan base, because like when it comes to numbers, of course, when they look good and they're in your favor or they look a certain type of way, you're gonna use them to the death. Like that's all you need. And for some people, like you're gonna feel like, hey, that's what his numbers say. So what the hell are you talking about? You don't watch the games. But look, we all watch the games. We kind of knew where Kerrigan was. He was he always needed that A player. So for example, if we had Chase Young when Kerrigan was like in 2014, 2015, Kerrigan's a fucking probably close to all pro. Like that's how good of a person that you needed beside Kerrigan. And he wasn't getting that until it was too late. So I mean, it sucks for Kerrigan, and I respect what he did for us because he gave his 100% effort every single game, every single play. He gave that 100% effort. I just don't think he was never up there in terms of the top tier, no matter what the numbers say.